we go from that story to that was '89, and you mentioned earlier you did make the decision to leave at the end of the year. At what point did that start percolating in your mind? How did that come about?
You mean about thinking about leaving?
Yeah.
Or
how
after
did
I
it?
left?
Yeah. How did it come about that you started?
We were running real good. You know, we were, you know, the 4-car, we were really running good. We might not have had the wins, but we were one of the fastest cars wherever we went. And it got to be silly season, and here come people. You know, I'm just, you know, I would drive these race cars for nothing, and did for a long time. And here people come and cup, you know, offering lots of money to drive their cars, and that was one of my biggest life lessons I ever learned. You know, used to, you know, don't chase the money. You know, chase. And I was happy, content where I was at, but I mean, I was offered more money than I ever could believe could make anywhere to drive somebody's race car. Yeah. And I was thinking about the money. And I tell everybody now, young kids coming up, don't chase the money. You know, be happy. I was happy where I was at. Not saying I wasn't happy, but yeah, I can. When I left the 4 team, I was not happy. And we didn't run good. And that was probably a big moment in my career that things started not being like they should be or were. And
So you said that you weren't happy at the 4-car?
No. When I left the 4-car,
Okay.
I was not happy.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I'll never forget. You know, I'm an older guy now, and I wouldn't have never admitted this, but I remember sitting at. I knew the last race at Atlanta, I had messed up. I knew
Before you ever moved.
Before I ever moved.
Did you really?
Yeah. And but the deal was done. The deal was done.
How did you know you messed up?
I didn't know, but I had a feeling. I just had a feeling in my heart. I just knew because I love these guys.
Yeah.
And we were running good. The other team was running good. That I was going to had been running good. But I just knew that put it this way, I was moving into a new chapter. But I had a feeling, and not down in nobody, but I remember sitting on pit road, and right before they said, crank your engines for that last race, I said to myself, this ain't good. I shouldn't have never done it, which I shouldn't. But that's behind. You know, I'm a man enough to admit it, you know. And you know, Larry McClure, they gave me a chance when nobody else would. And that always kind of bothered me. You know, you get to running good. They worked just as hard as I'd worked, and you know, I let probably certain things come into play that I shouldn't have, and I take it back and look at it as one of those good life lessons. But I do promote it. I promote it with younger guys. I've told guys that left my hometown to go play pro ball. I've told them that story. I say, hey, don't follow the money. Play your game. Enjoy what you're doing, and it will come by itself. And so,
what was Larry and Tony's reaction?
Oh, it wasn't good. You know, I mean, it was like family breaking up. You know,
yeah. And
you know, Larry did everything that he could to keep me there. Like I say, it was nobody's fault but my own. And we can sit here and talk about it, but it's one of my worst decisions I ever made in my life.
So you did run 90 with Ray Mock, and then you moved over to the Stavola Brothers, 91. 92, you go into the 500, you run the 500, and that's it.
Yep.
What happened?
All I'm going to say is I got hoodooed. I'm not going to, you know, I started seeing, you know, sport change a little bit. Not sport, but it wasn't that family. It wasn't that family that I was so used to being around. And, you know, people, they do whatever they can do to protect their own butts, you know. I drove for Stavola. I wanted to drive for, you know, Stavola. You know, getting back to, you know, when I left the 4-car, Ray Mock team, known them guys all my life. They did some changing right there when I went to work for them, crew chief wide and stuff. It just didn't work. I'm not going to sit there. It just didn't work. Yeah. Chemistry was not there. Yeah. So I had a 3-year contract with them. We decided I'm going to move on. Got out of it. And really the only thing available was the Stavola Brothers, in which, you know, Billy and all them guys at Stavola Brothers, great people. Harry Hyde was the one I wanted to be with.
Yeah.
And and were, but we had Buicks. They weren't worth a flip,
Yeah.
but that's what we had,
Yeah.
and so we had Harry Hyde, we had equipment, and we had some changing going on early in the year. They had a motor program that wasn't all that great, had a good chassis program, but not. So they hired some people to come in on motor programs to upgrade the motor programs, which basically didn't happen.
Yeah.
And, well, you know how it is back then when things, you don't run good or whatever, if they sometimes point at the drivers or whoever. But anyway, it was okay. I just wasn't happy there. It didn't work out. Ran the one season, changed to Fords. That could have had something to do with it. Ford was involved in it more. They wanted, but anyway, didn't work out. Went to Daytona, didn't run very well at all, and so they decided to change drivers, and which was okay with me, So I set out for that year, and in the next year I got a ride with the King.
After the 92 500, except for the Bristol night race that year, the Busch Series race, I think with Charlie's team, I think you did run it. How difficult was it for you to be on the sidelines?
Oh, it was bad. I didn't think they could have a race without me. All drivers think that.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, all drivers think that. Oh, they can't have that race without me.
A lot of the media feel that way too.
It was tough, but I was waking up a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't as bulletproof as I thought I was. I want to, you're early on in your career, get started, we're all bulletproof, and we think that, we're it, and as you go down the pike a little bit, down the road a little bit, you understand that, maybe you're not it, you're just like anybody else, things happen. And, but sitting on the sidelines, and it made me very humble. Like I said earlier, being in this sport, doing what you love to do above everything else other than God and family, and get paid for it, man, but it makes you humble, it will humble you. And it, it made me grow up a little bit. And I started looking at things a little different, had a family started, had been very blessed in our family businesses. And but I wanted to race, but I kept going back to my times, and I'll say it from this till the last day, the enjoyable times that I had with Larry and Tony, with Charlie. There is racing and having a good rapport with the people around you, enjoying every minute of it, and there is racing when you don't have that. And it doesn't matter how much somebody pays you or what happens, at the end of the day, you want to be happy. And I miss that. I wanted to be happy. And but sitting on the sidelines, that ain't no good. And then when you go home and do some short track racing, all you can think about is running, Cup. And everybody said, why ain't you running Cup? What's the problem?
Yeah.
I don't have a ride, so. But that was the turning point right there, so I was fortunate enough that, the King was retired. And basically I was probably there might have been a few out there he was looking at. And, I got the call. So it was good.
How did that come about? What was the process like?
I just kind of went and talked to him one day. He said, hey, man, I need a ride. You need a driver if you're going to retire. And I'm sure there's a lot of them did, And I'd always got along good with King. And Kyle probably helped too, to be honest with you. Me and Kyle were close. And, back then we talked all the time. I really didn't think I would get it. But I'm glad I did. It was a great experience driving for the King. King's a good guy, great guy.
It was a pretty quick deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because from what I remember, it was like maybe a week or two before you were announced, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That
Matter
you-
of fact, I don't think it was announced that we was in Atlanta last
Yeah,
race.
yeah.
Yeah. He had a big hoopla there, and
Yeah.
I come walking in, like, but it was, and that was a tough year too. The King, I love the King. Me and the King got along good. And I had a guy the crew chief there, and this was another reason why I know I probably got some inside help. Not only Kyle, Robbie Loomis. He worked for me when he was 16 years old down here in Florida.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was. He built.
Yeah.
He was my crew chief right here in Bartow. We run New Smyrna. We run all the short.
I
track.
did not
Yeah.
know that
So
connection.
I knew Robbie forever. And matter of fact, through working for me and dealing with motor builders and I think it was it Port City or somebody. That's who I used to get my chassis built. But anyway, he got a rapport with that chassis builder, engine builder, and that's how he met Kyle. When he moved on, he wanted to go up and get but anyway, through Kyle, he got a job working for Kyle, and then went working for Richard, and become a crew chief. So, but it was that's how that got started. I had forgot about Robbie, but it was a good experience. It happened quick. It did.
So you're taking over for Richard Petty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have any kind of reservations going into that deal because of that? Because there was no way that you were going to, in my mind, there's no way that you're going to live up to,
Oh no, there's no way.
anybody. I mean, you could have put Dale Earnhardt in that car. You could have put anybody into that car. What was your thinking about replacing him,
Well,
being such an icon?
yeah, after, it was pretty neat right off the bat because, I'm the guy that got called to replace Richard Petty.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, a couple of years before then, I was pretty much, dragging the ground.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me, give me a breath of fresh air. And, but I did know that it was going to be a tough road home. Robbie was a great guy, good crew chief. King's a great guy. But I'm not saying everything they had was all that great.
Right.
Lord, I don't want to down anybody here on, but
Yeah.
it wasn't all that great stuff.
Yeah.
And and I understood that going in. I understood. I was just wanting to ride, hoping to get on back down in on the deal. And as the year went on, it was a struggle. It was a struggle just to get that thing in the show. I remember we was at Sears Point.
Yeah.
And we got our first top 10 at Sears Point. And man, I was just tickled to death. And because we'd worked hard, and it kind of, be honest with you, from that point on, things started getting rougher and rougher. And looking back on it, I got a pretty good idea why. And it just that's kind of a tough one to answer because I don't want to step on no toes. But I'll just tell you this story right here. Dale Inman, good guy. Me and him didn't see eye to eye all the time. Dale's a different type guy, but good guy, been in the sport, very good at what he does. And we were at Indianapolis. That was when they had the first practice session. We had run Michigan that weekend. We were at Indy, but Michigan, I run the Busch car. Should have won the race there. Had a caution right there at the end. My old car took it a lap or two. That's when we were running V6s. Took it a lap or two to get up to speed. Had a caution, run third or fourth. Sit on the pole, run third or fourth. Something like that. Started a cup race. It wasn't good. Just rode in the back all day long. Run hard. But anyway, I'll never forget. And I'd had it about up here too. I was getting back in my, it was getting rough again. And don't get me wrong, we worked hard and we tried to run good. And and I tell this story, and I hope they don't take it wrong, but I remember Dale Inman. Me and Robbie, we get along good, and me and Robbie knew what was going on, and we knew we were trying to make it better. And Dale Inman, he says, I don't know what we're going to do, Rick. He said, we've changed everything but the steering wheel. I said, Yep, I reckon we have. I said, but you know something? I don't know what to do either. Dale, I said, you know, I'm doing my best. I said, I'm running as hard as I can. I said, but you know something? I said, Richard Petty, 7-time Winston Cup champion. And this was in the Indianapolis garage. I thought it was kind of funny, but they didn't think it was that funny. I said, Richard Petty, 7-time Winston Cup champion, 200 races. He couldn't drive this son of a bitch. So how do you expect me to drive it? So that pretty much wound me up.
And they let you go?
At the end of the year, I went. Yeah. We had to finish the year out. You know?
Yeah.
But I just said it like it was, you know. I said, dang, what am I going to do? I'm not the king, and you expect me to win every race.
Okay, all right. How did Richard seem to handle retirement as a driver? Did you sense that it was difficult for him not to be in the car?
I don't think so. I think he was ready.
Okay. Yeah,
I think he was.
Yeah.
He got hurt quite a bit there at the end.
Yeah.
And the competition was, like I'm saying, things were changing. Things were happening different than what I could say he was used to, you know. I can see it now. If I was, you know, I could see it now happening to people. Just when you're there so long, things start changing. Your mind goes to thinking different, what you want, how you want things to be. You know, it's just, I think he'd had enough, I think.
Yeah.
He had enough, and a great, I mean, there's none no better. So what else did he have to prove? And I think, you know, there at the end, he wasn't running as good as he wanted to. And, you know, the King's supposed to run good. But it wasn't like it used to be.
Yeah.
So probably the best thing he did was to step down. And he's a heck of a team owner and a car owner. But I don't think, you know, I'm sure it's no different than me. I missed the competition.
Yeah.
And I miss my friends, and I miss, you know, that competition. And, you know, I still dabble in it. I still race some, so I get that when I want. But it's not something that I got to make sponsors happy. Begging for money every year to make the sport work for me, I mean, I don't miss none of that. I don't miss none of that. I just going out and doing what I like doing, driving that race car. There's nothing no better than that. But all the stuff that comes along with it now, that's why they got so many people working there, so they don't have to deal with all that stuff. I mean, just that's part of it, though. So it's different. So to answer your question, I think he was ready to step out. I really do.
After you parted ways with that team, you didn't run at the Cup or Busch level anymore until '97. Was that by choice, or were you maybe looking and not?
No, that was. You're talking about with the 27 car, I think it was.
Well, no, I mean from '95, '96, you didn't.
Right, it was.
Yeah.
I'm driving for. I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name.
David Blair.
David Blair.
Yeah,
Yep.
You came back and you did do some stuff for him. You did do some Busch stuff.
Yep. Just enjoying.
Okay.
That was the deal. I know David Blair. I know David wanted to. He bought all the junior stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. And we had a good hot rod. Bought all the junior stuff. Had Fords. Had Yates building the motors. Had 2 or 3 guys on the team. That was about it. And but his deal was wanting to move on. And I drove for him had Shorty was working there, and we had a different crew chief just about every time we went and ran it, but it worked out okay. We ran like we probably should have run, and then I think they were looking for a full-time gig and sponsors, and they put I forget the boy's name, but he passed away. Something happened that went in that car, which was good for them. They had a full-time gig. He was a big-time name, and hoping it was going to happen. But I did that. I wasn't looking to step up and go nowhere. To be honest with you, the only thing I would have done was went back and drove for Morgan-McClure if they'd asked me. Because that's how much I loved them.
Yeah.
And but I didn't have. I mean, I enjoyed going racing. I enjoyed being around my friends. But I seen things changing too. And I'll back up. I'm very, very fortunate. You know, I seen so many guys that were there that all they had was racing. That's how they made a living. Without racing, they couldn't make a living. I'm not saying they couldn't, but that's what they did. I was very blessed because I was, you know, through my family businesses and my own businesses, I didn't have to have racing to just to be there and try to make a dollar. And so I could kind of pick and choose. And I'll be honest with you, what I went through there for 3 or 4 years on the rough times, I was okay with that. Getting back there again and going through that same deal. Because, I mean, I wasn't going to go get a ride and everything was going to be good.
Yeah.
A top-notch car at that time and point wasn't available. None of them were available. And so I said, you know, I'm just going to go have some fun, enjoy myself, take what I get, run. I got to go to Indy, run Indy. Never had run Indy in my life. Got to go there and do things driving for Blair. That was good. It was good, you know, and I didn't have a problem with it.
Now, what is your what do you do here in Bartow?
Not anymore, but for years and years we were in the construction business. We worked in the phosphate mines and built a lot of roads around here in Polk County. That's the county that I'm in. We're in the cattle business, citrus business. Once we got out of the construction business, we got into the heavy equipment business. When I say construction business, we had big bulldozers, you know. That's what we're in. We buy and sell, you know. We're in the heavy equipment business, used equipment business, do some manufacturing, do a little bit of everything. And then I took on being a commissioner for this county, and enjoy that. I'm not a politician, but I enjoy bringing. I've been in business for 40 years, been self-employed, and I enjoy bringing that to the table when it comes to our county, bringing some common sense and, you know, just that kind of stuff to the government, because sometimes you look around here, there's not a lot.
Well, I was going to ask, and I don't want to get into politics, but what possessed you? What possessed you
Easy
to get
question.
into politics?
It's an easy answer. You know, I kind of say it this, and I'll tell you a story. I'd rather be holding the steering wheel in this bus than sitting back there riding. If you understand what I'm saying, I'd rather have some say-so in the government here than not having no say-so at all.
Yeah.
But, you know, in our cattle business, we own a lot of property around here. And back in the 08, 07, when the boom had hit, or when the crash hit, I was going to change some stuff around, and we were in the county in case I ever wanted to build houses or something. We're in the cattle business. We never did. But in case I wanted to put houses on some of this property, because they were building houses everywhere. See what I had to do to get the zoning changed or the land use changed. So come down to the county, and I knew in about 30 minutes that I was barking up the wrong tree here. It was going to be an undertaking. So I went across the street to the city, and annexed in the city, and got it all done. But just things like that making me think that, you know, we need some, you know, just need common sense. You know, this country, you know, or this county or this state, just are all above what I just said. Just need some good common sense, you know, and you know, that's what needs to be brought to it. So that's what got me going. Like I said, I'd rather be part of it, trying to make some of the policies and issues than just sitting there waiting on somebody to tell me what I got to do.